Hey everybody, welcome to Connect Station. I am Mike.
And I'm Clint.
Today we're going to explore what it looks like to spread the message of God's love.
People need to hear about all the awesome things God can do.
And the cool thing is, God has given you a story to do it.
That story is made up of all the things God has done for you. It's called your testimony.
A testimony is a true story of what God has done for you, what you've seen Him do in your life, and real experiences with Him. Your testimony can help other people believe that God can do it in their lives too.
That's why today's point is, people need Jesus to be their best friend. I'll tell my story, so they'll follow Him.
So think about what good news God story you want to tell while you watch today's adventure.
Alyssa, could you come to the hub, please? Your mail is here. 3, 2, 1.
This is my favorite day. I love when we get mail from you guys. Where is it? Where is it?
It's right here.
Oh man, how am I gonna know which one's for me?
Oh, because they're all for you.
Awesome.
So you can have them.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get Nitro to help.
You're welcome.
Huh?
Anytime.
This is my favorite part of being on Connect Crew. You guys get to hear me all the time, but I only get to hear from you when you write me letters. And each one of your letters means so much to me. This one's from Blake from Kansas. Hi, Blake. He writes, Dear Alyssa, I love rewatching Connect Station episodes online. What do you do for fun when you visit Earth? Like, I really like to see different art from all different countries. Thanks for writing. This one is from Caitlin from Tennessee. Hi, Caitlin. Dear Alyssa, my name is Caitlin. I'm 8. I want to be like you when I grow up. Aww. But I need help. Kids tease me for talking about what Jesus did for me. I don't want to do it anymore. I think I'll stop watching Connect. I don't want people to think I'm weird anymore. I want to give up. This letter breaks my heart. God, I know you don't want Caitlin to be embarrassed by her relationship with you, but how do I get Caitlin to know that? This letter is too important. I've got to get Caitlin to share her story. I'm gonna find a way. Oh, sorry, Alyssa. I don't know what to do. I mean, I've never had anybody tell me something like this before. I mean, what would you do?
What's wrong, Alyssa?
Read this.
Caitlin really needs help.
I don't know what to do.
Tell a story of your life. Like maybe a time when God helped you to be brave. You know, your testimony. It's very powerful.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I've never stood up to anyone or done anything extraordinary. I'm just me. Oh, I don't think telling my story will help.
Telling your story of what God has done for us does more than we think. Paul in the Bible, he told his story to let people know who God is. In fact, Paul was brave enough to tell his story to the leaders of the whole nation when he got the chance.
This is his 66 picks mixed up into one. The books about God, who he is. the Holy Bible, y'all, with God's truth packed out inside. It's a life of prize to hide in your heart and in your mind. Old Testaments are set up for the big event when Jesus crashed the scene with a new arrangement. It's history, his story, whose story, God's story. Oh, the story of how much he loves me. Let it blow up all the pages, let this show go live. Let his word explode from this video into your life.
Way back in Bible times, God picked a man named Paul to be the first one to spread the good news about Jesus with the world outside of God's people in Israel. He shared God's love by starting churches everywhere he went. But not everybody liked that Paul told people about God. The Pharisees, the religious leaders in Bible times, felt threatened by the message of Jesus. They arrested Paul and put him in prison. But God used Paul in that situation too. While on trial, Paul was allowed to give his testimony to some important Roman rulers. His testimony is the true story of what God has done for him personally. O great rulers, my name is Paul. This is the story of what God has done for me. When I was little, I was trained in all the customs and ways of how to worship God. I loved God more than anyone you could find. But I didn't believe that Jesus Christ was God. So I did everything I could to stop the news about Jesus from spreading. When I was on the road to arrest some Christians, God showed me Jesus was God by personally sending Jesus to meet me. Jesus told me that he would use my testimony to spread his message throughout the world. I did what Jesus asked and preached the good news about him instead of going against him. I traveled everywhere Jesus told me to go. But there were others who wanted to stop the message about Jesus from spreading, just like I used to. They tried to attack me and hurt me. They lied and accused me of breaking the law. But God protected me so I could continue to preach the good news about Jesus. And now I'm preaching that to you today. Paul's story made the rulers think about the story of Jesus. They decided not to put him to death. Instead, Paul was sent to the ancient capital of the world, Rome, so he could tell his testimony to Caesar. He continued to tell the story of what Jesus had done for him everywhere he went.
I can't believe Paul was that brave, and his testimony was so powerful. I mean, first he was a bad guy, and then he met Jesus. I mean, he really met Jesus, and then he was a good guy. And then he went all over the world sharing his testimony. I need to tell Caitlin a story that powerful.
Just be honest. God gave Paul a story unique to him, just like he gave you a story that's unique to you.
I know what will make my story powerful. Clint!
Whoa, why are you spinning me?
I don't know. I need your help.
Okay.
I need to share my story, so I need you to build me the biggest microphone ever.
Okay, give me another spin.
Will this work?
Attention everyone! I have a testimony. Listen to my story.
Not the way to do it. Hurting me.
This is bad. It's very bad.
Alyssa, you don't need a giant microphone. I've known you for a while now. All you have to do is tell your story.
Okay, here it is. When I was little, I was mean. They used to call me Alyssa the Angry. And one time, I made a kid cry so hard there wasn't enough tissues to stop the tears. So then God showed up and he was like, Alyssa, stop being mean. And I was like, oh my gosh, because God was in my house and he was like sitting there staring at me and he was pointing.
Alyssa, this story isn't true. A testimony is a true story.
Yeah, but my testimony is boring. There's nothing exciting about it.
You're not looking at it the right way. What's important is what God did for you. That story is powerful because nobody can take it away from you. No one can talk you out of it. It's your proof that God is real and He works in people in a real way.
Fine. To the room. Hello, room.
Hello, Alyssa. How can I help you?
I got all these letters from Connect Kids, and one was from a girl saying she was gonna give up talking about Jesus. Kids were making fun of her, and she's embarrassed.
How do you want to help her?
Well, I want to tell her that sometimes people are gonna make fun of you for believing in God, but that's okay. I mean, I used to feel that way when I was a kid. But now I get to talk about Jesus all the time on this station. No one makes fun of me here, but it's not the same for her. I don't know if what God has done for me in my life matters to others. I want an exciting story, like Paul.
But God gave you your story. It's the story He wants you to tell. Why would you receive so many letters if you weren't exciting?
What if it doesn't help?
God is the one who reaches in and speaks to people's hearts through our stories. Let Him do His part, and you just do your part.
Okay, so what can I say to make her see that what other people think doesn't matter?
Paul from the Bible wrote in Romans 1:16, "For I am not ashamed of this good news about Christ. It is the power of God at work, saving everyone who believes."
All right, I get it now. I need to share my story, and I don't need to be ashamed of who I am. People need Jesus to be their best friend. I'll tell my story so they'll follow Him. Thanks, Room.
Anytime.
You were right. I need to tell my story because it's the story God gave me. But I don't even know if Caitlin is still watching. Will you help me write it?
I'd love to.
Hi, Caitlin. Thank you so much for being honest about how you feel. I know it's hard when you feel all alone, but be confident about who God is making you to be. When I was younger, every time I would talk about something new Jesus did for me, there was always one girl who would tease me in front of everyone. One day, I saw her crying outside of class because her mom was really sick and she didn't know what was going to happen. So I asked her if she wanted me to pray with her. We sat there in the middle of the hallway and prayed together. After we were done, she was so surprised that I was nice to her that she actually wanted to make Jesus her friend. Don't be afraid to tell your story. What Jesus can do in our lives is the best news ever, and we should be excited to share it. People need to hear your story just as much as you needed to hear mine. I'll be praying for you, Caitlin. Love, Alyssa.
That's perfect.
Thanks.
You know what? You should go down and give it to her in person. I think it would mean a lot.
I think you're right. To Earth.
Wow. Alyssa had such an amazing story to tell, and that story could change a life.
I hope you're excited to tell the good news about what God has done in your life.
And if you're ever afraid to share your story, remember this verse, Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of this good news about Christ. It is the power of God at work, saving everyone who believes. Now say it with us. Romans 1:16.
Romans 1:16.
For I am not ashamed
I am not ashamed
of this good news about Christ.
of this good news about Christ.
It is the power of God at work.
It is the power of God at work,
Saving everyone who believes.
saving everyone who believes.
Great job! Now go out there and share your story about what God has done for you.
Because people need Jesus to be their best friend. I'll tell my story so they'll follow him.